What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a new video. So today's going to be the day we try out different fishing rods for money. And as you guys know, the best place to go to right now is going to be the Castaway Cliffs. Who would have known? I'm going to be honest, I thought after the update they were going to nerf the Castaway Cliffs. But it turns out it's still the best spot to make money right now. But I mean, if you guys watched my previous video, I did show you other locations you could fish at. But I mean, those spots make you a little bit less money, but it's still a different location. So if you guys are tired of seeing the Castaway Cliffs, you could switch it up. But now for the fishing rods, I'm going to try out a bunch of them. I think in total, I'm going to try out 7 different fishing rods, maybe 8. It really depends how much time I have. But let's say for example you have other fishing rods you want me to test out, right? If you want, just comment down below which fishing rods you want me to test out and I'll do it. But that's gonna have to happen in a separate video. So yeah, for the most part I have like mostly fishing rods in the game except one. And I think that one I'm gonna do it in the next video as well. So now let's talk about something first. For the bait, I'm gonna be using 3 different baits. So for the first bait, I'm gonna be using the gobstopper bait. And as you guys know, it's a really good bait from the Halloween event. And of course with this one, I'm gonna be using angler's glove. But for some fishing rods with a really good stabbing effect, I'm gonna use a candy corn. Because if you guys don't know, with the candy corn, it drops your resilience. So for example, look at this. If I use the evil pitchfork with the candy cane, it'll drop the resilience to minus 50%. And because it's at minus 50%, the stabbing effect's gonna work way more. And besides candy corn and gobstopper, I'm gonna be using luminous larva. So with the luminous larva, we get a really high luck and good resilience. But if you don't have the candy corn or gobstopper, you can use the luminous larva instead. I mean, overall, it's a really good bait, and you could buy it constantly. Okay, now for the first fishing rod, the Dreambreaker rod. Now with the Dreambreaker rod, I use voided gloves or luminous larva bait. And the main reason why I use voided gloves is because I think it's better with this fishing rod. So on average with the Dreambreaker rod, I made $10.59 million an hour. And as you can see, we were super close to making $11 million an hour. Look, I'm just saying this fishing rod is so good for money. I know a lot of people do not like this fishing rod because of the inverted minigame, but I think if you get used to it, it's worth using. I mean, just keep in mind, at night with this fishing rod, it's the best to use. Because at night, you get a plus 50% fish size buff, and on top of that, a 35% chance for the Distraught mutation. And with that mutation, you get an 8.5 times multiplier. And to make things even better, you have the stabbing effect. Look, I'm just saying the inverted minigame, if you get used to it, you're gonna make a lot of money in the long run. And now for enchantments, I did use Sea Overload and Sea Prince. I mean, for most of the fishing rods, I use this combination because you make a lot of money with it. So yeah, $10.59 million an hour, it's a really good option. Okay, up next we have the tryhard rod. I'm just saying with the tryhard rod, I have the least amount of experience with it. I'm just saying before the nerf, the Arnie rod made me $30 million an hour, almost, between 25 to 30. So there was really no point in me using the tryhard rod at all. But now that I'm using it, I see the potential with it. But on average with the tryhard rod, I made $7.1 million an hour. I'm just saying, if you're better at using this fishing rod than I am, you're gonna make way more than I did. So it wouldn't surprise me if you make between $8 to $9 million with this fishing rod. Now to use this fishing rod for money, is it worth it? I'm not really sure. Because with this fishing rod, I used the Herculean and Sea Prince enchantment. And with the Herculean enchantment, you need it to give you a fighting chance. The tryhard rod has a negative 0.37 control bar. And with the Herculean enchantment, you get a minus 0.17. So yeah, a lot of pro and cons, but is it worth using for money? I'm not really sure. It's up to you. Because keep in mind too, for this, I use avoided gloves and gobstopper bait. And I mean, to be honest, I don't think it made that much of a difference in terms of resilience. This fishing rod does have a minus 500% resilience. And with the gobstopper bait, it went from 500 to 400. So yeah, at the end of the day, it was still moving a lot. But for me, $7.1 million an hour is not that bad. I truly think if you master the tryhard rod, you could make way more than I did. But is the effort worth it? Well, it's up to you now. Now up next for the next fishing rod on the list, we have the evil pitchfork rod. And I'm just saying with this fishing rod, I'm a little bit disappointed. So on average with the evil pitchfork rod, I made $4.02 million an hour. And I mean, making $4 million an hour right now is pretty bad. I think in general, this fishing rod is way better for admin events. Because at least with the admin events, you get some really big fish. But you see, for me with this fishing rod, I ran multiple tests. And every single test, I was making less money. And for me, I had high hopes with this fishing rod to make us a lot of money, but in the end, it didn't. I mean, if you look at the passive with this fishing rod, it's so strong. But with this fishing rod, I used the Herculean enchantment with Sea Prince. Now with the evil pitchfork, you have a minus 0.1 control bar. So with the Herculean enchantment, you get a 1. So it's pretty decent. But I mean, if you want to make a little bit more money, you could use Sea Overload or Sea Prince instead. But I feel like you could have made $5.5 million an hour with that, but I don't think it's worth it still. Because in the end, there's other fishing rods that are way better. So yeah, evil pitchfork, $4.02 million an hour. Now up next, we have the ruinous oath rod. And I'm just saying this one I had a lot of fun using. So on average with the ruinous oath rod, we made $9.89 million an hour. And I'm just saying, I feel like 90% of the time I got the master mutation. So if you guys didn't know, you need to get perfect catch to get the master mutation on it. And if you get the master mutation, you get a 9 times multiplier on that fish. And to make things even better, I was using Sea Overload and Sea Prince. prints. So that means the fish we were getting were really big with a really strong mutation on it. But keep in mind too, I was making a lot of money because I kept getting perfect catch for the most part. I'm just saying I was messing up some fish, so I think I could easily get over $10 million per hour. But just to be more transparent, $9.89 million an hour is what I got. But it's definitely possible to make over $10 million very easily. But now to use this fishing rod long term, is it worth it? I'm not really sure. Because for this fishing rod, I use the gobstopper bait to help me with the resilience. So this fishing rod has a resilience of 25%. And with the gobstopper, it brings it up to 125. As you can see, that's a really big difference. But yeah, that fishing rod is pretty decent. It's really fun to use for me. But now for the next one's going to be the Oni rod. So yesterday when I was testing out different locations, I was using the Oni rod to do that. But on average with the Oni rod, as you guys remember, I made $7.78 million an hour. I'm going to be honest though, I think you could make a little bit more money. So on that fishing rod, I have the spooky and eerie enchantment. I think if you take out the eerie enchantment and put sea prints instead, you'll make more money. So I think we could very easily get over $8 million an hour if we do that. So if that's your best fishing rod right now, it's still very good to use. I would keep on using it. But yeah, now for the next fishing rod, the other Monster Whipper rod. Now the other Monster Whipper rod surprised me a lot. So on average with the other Monster Whipper rod, I made $11.052 million an hour. So if you want to round it up, $11.1 million an hour. So now there's one thing about this fishing rod, right? Tomorrow I might do another test that might make this fishing rod even more money. I don't want to say it right now because I could be wrong, but I think there's two other enchantments you could use to make even more money. I think about maybe like $1 or $2 million more. So with this fishing rod, you can actually make over $13 million an hour. But first, I'm going to run that test tomorrow and let you guys know what I find. I'm just saying the money maker with this fishing rod is going to be the passive on it. So with the passive, we're going to be getting mossy gray gold curse sharks. And you get so many of them, it really boosts the money per hour. And also keep in mind with the other Monster Whipper rod and the passive, it gives you a weight buff. So if you use sea overloaded sea prints with that weight buff, these fish are huge. I mean, every single fish you catch is the big mutation on it. So there's a chance you could get the big shrouded hammerhead shark, and it's so much money. I'm pretty sure they sell for like $250,000 each. And to make things even better, you have the mossy gray gold curse shark. Yo, the money's crazy. So this fishing rod is definitely top 3 for money right now. And I'm just saying, if I'm right about tomorrow, we could make it the #1 fishing rod to make money with. And now for the best fishing rod in the game to make money is going to be the Nate blade. I mean, I call it the Nate rod, but it's a Nate blade. So on average with the Nate blade, I made $11.59 million an hour. And as you can see, we were so close to making 12 million. But like I said before with the other Monster Whipper rod, I think we could pass the Nate blade. I'm just saying in general, the Nate blade is a really easy fishing rod to use. Like that massive control bar you get, it's impossible to lose fish. But now with the Nate blade, I did use sea overloaded sea prints. It makes a really big difference. And what makes it even crazier, the fish weight is actually insane. I believe it's a little bit bigger than the other Monster Whipper rod passive. And that's pretty much all I got for fishing rods. I'm gonna be honest, that took me a very long time to do. Oh, and also once again, if you want me to test out another fishing rod, let me know down below. If you guys want me to test out mid-game fishing rods, I'll do it as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got for today. If you used today's video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.